welcome to the FMSL podcast. I am Cameron with my co-host Chrissy. Chrissy, how are you doing?
How you doing, Cam? Good to be back.
Nice to be back, isn't it? So today we've got the brilliant three-time Premier League winner with Sassuolo last year and current Stade Reims manager, Joseph McMahon.
Hi guys.
Joe, how are you doing?
Not bad. Getting by. Tough week it's been, but yeah.
I know you've got a little stat to tell us, so why don't you give that stat that relates to that now?
Well, yeah, I had a look after being in 3 finals this week. Since I've been doing the league for the last 4 seasons, I've been in 7 finals and I've only ever won 1. So I'm probably the biggest loser in FMSL history, I think.
The biggest loser, FMSL. Oh, that is tragic, mate. So, going on to talk about your season to mop that up and make you feel a little bit worse. So you finished 4th this year. I will actually pop the table up at some point right now. So you finished 4th and you got all the way to the playoff final. Tell me about your season.
So I struggled this season. It was hard to get grips with my tactic. I managed to eventually get it to start clicking the last sort of 2 weeks, sort of the last league week and then going into the playoffs as well. Finally got it doing what I wanted it to do. The last week of the league games, managed to get myself into the playoffs, finished 4th, where I think at one point I didn't actually think I was going to get in at all. So that was good. Then got all the way to the playoff finals to bottle it, as I do in final form. But yeah, no, as a whole, I think I can't moan too much. I'm gutted that I'm still in League 2, but the banter's great down here, so we love it.
Well, it's all going to go soon because me and Chrissy are leaving and we're going and we're taking the rap god with us.
I'm sure Joe will fly the flag for League 2.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just one more season, Joe.
One more season, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So like you said, you had a bit of a rocky start to the season. I noticed you were dropping points where a lot of us were surprised. Didn't think you'd be dropping points in a lot of them games, but you managed to turn it around. So what were the little tweaks that made it work in the end? Well, what was you doing wrong?
It's just the tactic as a whole. I think it was. So I tweaked it to a point. I sort of started thinking, right, do I want to go strikerless next season? So I sort of built it around to do that, but still, because I had Tammy Abraham, instead of using, say, an AM, played him as a deep line forward on support, and it just started clicking. Playing APs wide as well, which I've never done before, just tweaking it a little bit like that, and yeah, it worked. I don't know why. Finally got me boy Leonardo Fernandez banging in.
We'll definitely talk about him.
Oh yeah, we'll be getting on to him later, I'm pretty sure. So Joe, how did he feel about League 2 as a whole? I know obviously you're not accustomed to the
us
League
peasants
2.
Down here.
Yes, us
peasants down here.
But I mean, how did you feel like the league went in terms of the finishing order? You know, the standouts. You know, Oliver. Sorry to say Oliver bottling it last week of the season.
That's a proper bottle.
It is a proper bottle.
So
how did you feel about all that? And even Ballon finishing bottom as well, which was not on my card at all.
So I always struggle against Oliver. Always find it's very hit and miss. I could struggle against whenever I played in friendlies or in league formats or anything like that. Always struggled to see him so good throughout the league and then just fall off at the end. It was a bit shocking. I do think when you look at the teams and the players within the teams, the order makes sense to a point. You'd expect those people who were up there competing for it to be competing for it. Got some big names, some big attributed players up there in them teams, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I do
mean,
agree with what you
yeah,
say with Oliver. He's a great manager, and he just it's just that last push. It seems to happen. It happened to him last FM as well, I believe.
yeah, it did.
It
Yeah.
gets to the final hurdle, and yeah, we
It
don't
was
talk
them
about negative.
final. I mean, them final 2 weeks as well. If you think we're all in League Two, so we all know the crack what it was, and I think me and you both had to play Oliver, and we were top three at that point, and then obviously, you kind of did you play Andrew as well in
Yeah,
that
or
last
actually,
2 weeks?
yeah,
Like you had them games against Andrew, I had a game against Connor, and it was Connor. Thank the Lord and praise to you for everything you did. You you saved me from another terrible season in League Two, so thank you because he beat Oliver in the first game of their
Mm.
legs, even though Oliver tried to switch it around. Um, but how did you? I mean, obviously, me and Chrissy went up, but did you think it was unfair the way that Oliver lost out? Because obviously, you didn't, do too well in the playoff rounds as well.
Um, it's harsh, isn't it, that he hasn't got up the
yeah,
side? But at the same time, everyone's got to play everyone. Doesn't matter
yeah.
if you do well at the start. If you'd have played the same people that you played at the end at the start, your league could have looked completely different, and he wouldn't might have looked as steady at running away with it at the start like he did.
And FM will do what FM wants to do, won't it?
Oh yeah,
Exactly that.
We all know that.
Exactly that. I think we all sometimes have conspiracy theories that it feels like a coin flip before you kick a
yeah.
ball, and that's what's going to happen. But it's one of them.
As
One of
well,
them
there is
things.
one important point that I've just remembered as we're talking about there. I think it was with the last. I think it was the middle week of the season. The what was it? The winter update came out,
Yeah,
and that bottled a lot of people's talent. If you look at the other leagues as well, like you see, people started struggling, and I know, myself, I struggled when that came out because it didn't want to play Benzema and Lewandowski up front anymore. I ended up playing Benzema out wide quite a lot of the time because it just didn't want to work. And I think that might have faulted with some people's tactics, but I know obviously it helped some as well. But talking about, we're talking about the top end of the table all the time here. Let's scoot back to last season. I mean, not to say I'm, the underdog here, but I was second bottom and Andrew was bottom. Andrew, well done, son. You've pulled yourself out the shitter. And you've done very well this season. But Ballon, can anybody offer some kind of, you know, analysis to what happened with
no,
Ballon,
I
or
think he
just
just
it
fell
just
off. I think we all have, like you say, with FN sometimes. Just sometimes you're playing against so many different people. You're playing so many different tactics. You could build the greatest tactic in the world, and down the line, someone's going to have a tactic that's going to beat yours. That's
oh
the way
yeah,
I see it.
Yeah, there's always something that'll be something else. You could be what someone else's tactic can be your team's kryptonite all the time. I've played very much at times this window. I would beat people higher up in the league, and then I'd play someone lower down, and my whole thing just fall apart. And I'd be games where I'd have thought going into it, oh, I've got this. Here's a 6-pointer, and it just doesn't come off. It's just
Mm.
you always feel like, what? Why am I the person that loses down here when I'm beating the other people higher up? At times,
Yeah,
I think this is the
it's a
most
heavy.
in depth we've spoke about a league on this podcast. Probably because we're all in the same league, so all know it inside and out. So I know I want to move on to team of the season, which I will magically appear here.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! So looking at team of the season, Chrissy, can you run through team of the season as it's on the screen right now?
Right, so we'll start at the top and work our way down. So obviously, we're previously mentioned we have Lewandowski and Benzema up front, with Messi and Brahim Diaz on the wings. Uh, Jamal Musiala in the middle with Fernandez and sorry, Joe, I'll forget his first name.
Leonardo.
Leonardo
Leonardo. How
Fernandez,
could what
the
a name?
boy.
What a baller! We will come on to him in a second. Ristic at left back, Miranda and Augusto. They are full backs, but here they're on the table as centre backs. Michael Carey at right back, and then signing of the season, Kasper Schmeichel, who's plays for
My boy.
CF America in goal. So, right, to you, Joe, does that look about right?
That team picks itself.
Yeah.
I think when you look at how players have performed, it's easy to pick that team in for how them players have performed in this league for their teams. It's easy done when you look at the stats that they've produced. Schmeichel with his clean sheets, you could say that's why he's almost probably, I would say, to avoid the signing of
the
season for this league easily.
What he's achieved.
Game changers to, what was it, 6 clean sheets, I think he had?
6, yeah, 6.
Yeah.
And do you know what?
One
The really
against me.
funny thing is as well? Yeah. Do you know what the really funny thing is as well? Joe, me and you had a conversation in the window gone. I wanted a new goalkeeper. Schmeichel was getting on. I knew he was retiring next season. And then he's went and done that. So you are a terrible advisor. I will never listen to you again.
I think you got an offer, and I think I was telling you, I was like, rip his hand off.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? It's De Craig, and he's came up. I don't care.
Yeah.
It was great. No,
So-
I think as well, Chrissy, can I just say as well, you having 4 players in team of the season, bravo to you. Because that, I mean,
Yeah.
I know I've dominated the front 4 there, but you've got 2 defenders in there, Musiala and Diaz. I think that is.
Do you know what as well?
Round of applause on its own, that like, because
Cheers.
that takes some beating.
Do you know what as well? It's quite a funny thing because all throughout the season, Harvey Elliott who partners with Musiala midfield, was up there. And the last 2 weeks, hats off to Leonardo Fernandez. I mean, that last game week, I think he got a 10, and I think he got a couple of 10s in the games, and he scored something like 8 or 9 goal contributions. And I was just like, wow, that deserves a place on that sheet. So, Joe,
Yeah,
so obviously, I know you have spoke about him, but I mean, how did you know about him? Because you did say that he wasn't in the game last year, and yeah.
So he's been in the game. He's been in the actual game for I don't know how long, but I found him 4 games ago, but he's never been in the Super League database.
Oh, right, that's what you meant.
So every year I've looked to try and sign him, and he's never there. So as soon as this year I saw him, I was like, right, okay, I'm signing straight away. Then saw he was on loan, so I was like, oh, I can't get him. So a whole season till I was allowed to buy him in the draft. When I got him, I think I got him as the first pick. I think some people thought, why are you getting him as your first pick? But he's probably, when you find that gem, and everyone knows that feeling, you find that gem, and you think, oh, football manager legend. Probably never going to be a huge player in real life, but in terms of football manager wise, you think, oh, absolute baller. Here's the lad.
I think as well. I think I'll pop a little screen. I think I'm going to pop a little screenshot of his stats and everything because
he's
some player.
Yeah.
He is really.
You did say in the chat he's probably the best player in the league, and I was like, and I was like, let me have a little look at these stat attributes. Sorry, before I cause another argument there.
Don't want to cause a riot, Chrissy.
And my God, what a baller!
Technical masterclass he is.
Yeah. I mean, he's something else, especially being a centrally, a central kind of figure as well.
Is he an AM? Is he predominantly an AM, or do you play him? He's
predominantly an AM. You can play him on the right wing as well. I play him in centre mid. I play him in centre mid as an advanced playmaker, and he just balls. He how the areas he gets in when you watch him in the match engine, it's like watching Messi. It sounds silly.
Do you know what though? You said that to me when you signed him. You said that to me when you signed him, and I just signed Messi in the draft, and I went, "You're a fucking liar, mate, fucking liar." And then he has been like, I'll hold my hands up. I think Messi he was 19 contributions all season, like with the goal contributions, and then obviously I think he's 2 behind.
He's
or
got
2 or 3 behind. Has he got 9 and 8 or something?
8 and 7, I think it is, off the top of my head.
But he's some player. Like I've
8
got to
goals,
say,
7 assists.
yeah, I've got to say though, he is some player. Like
Ridiculous.
if he played in my team, like not saying it, but if he played in my team, I reckon he's going places. Like in terms of the creativity that he has. Like if he plays in most other teams as well, he's going to smash it. So keep a hold of him. Remember, this is your one chance to tell everybody who you're not getting rid of this window, who you might be getting rid of this window.
Yeah.
He's
Other
never
players are available.
Piss Niall off. Piss him off.
Unfortunately, the only way that lad is getting prized away from me is if I get offered Mbappe and Haaland as a package deal and no care of them anymore. So it's never going to
So, all in all, Joe, I mean, you had a great cup run this year as well. I know you got to the final, or was it what one was it?
Heenan Cup.
Nice.
We got to the final of the Heenan Cup. Lost to Rachmat, who's great tactician. So I don't think I'm yet to ever beat him. He's a great manager. He's a good lad as well.
He knows how to build a team as well, doesn't he? He knows how to build a team. I mean, I sold him Torgan Hazard last year for 20 million, and I messaged him. I had a look at his stats like yesterday, and I messaged him yesterday and said, "You owe me like another 30 million," because I think he was the one who got 9 and 8, and I was going, how did he get that from a 31-year-old? But he's a great manager and he's a great guy. And there's a few of them who are like that as well, though. It's not just him. I mean, you got Mohammed as well. Yeah,
it's a great league to be in.
A lot of people, lot of people in the league. A lot of great people as well. I mean, I think we all end up sort of like we to a point, we all get along as well. There's lots of banter as well. You've got to be sometimes a bit thick-skinned, I think.
Yeah, you have, definitely.
But so long as you take anything to heart, everyone's a good laugh in the league. You get little cliques as well. I mean, I know I speak to you, Cam, all the time. I speak to Niall all the time. I speak to Jake quite a lot. We just have decent cliques, lots of banter, which is nice.
Yeah. That's what is the great thing about this league, and we think we've said it on a few pods now. Is like you say, you have got to be thick-skinned. There is a lot of banter, but there's also a lot of good friendships.
Yeah. I mean, the three of us, we've been quite pally since we've joined the league, and then we've all got our own people off that as well, and it does show the value of having the league. And being friends with each other and having a laugh. And yeah, it's something that if you can get involved in, 100% recommended. It is a great laugh. Just got to avoid Niall, though. He's a bit of a...
I thought we were going to try and not talk about him.
I've already spoke about him at this point. I've already spoken
We're talking about this FMSL legend right now, man.
Oh, man. But
the redemption story is going to happen. I can feel it, Joe. So
you're going to get that, man.
Yeah, better luck for the transfer window, and hopefully we don't swap each other next season.
Looking forward to the transfer window. It's always to me the best part of the whole thing. It's such a whirlwind, but I absolutely love every single minute of it. I mean, I start looking at the old database trying to shortlist players the week before the whole thing comes out. Obviously, I never message anyone.
Obviously.
No one does. No one does, Kev, honestly.
No. But thank you very much, Joe. I believe you're going to also be involved in the transfer special next week. Is that true? Is that confirmed?
It would be rude not to be. Not to be involved.
Yeah, good man.
I've got to give a shout out as well to the consortium. They know who they are. They've helped me out with Football Manager. I've got a shout out to the consortium. You know who you are. They're like some of my. You're not in the league.
Kev's coming for what Adwood podcast.
Brilliant, boys.
But thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much, Chrissy. This has been the FMSL podcast. Have a great night.